देवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये
देवाय
नक्षत्राणि तद्रेषु
वासुदेवाय
नित्यं भागवत
नारायणं
सेवया
नमस्कृत्यं नरं
भगवती
चैव
उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all devotees. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto First, Chapter 18. Parikshit course by Brahmana boy. Shloka number 10 to 12. यायाः कथा भगवतः
यायाः कथा
कथा
भगवतः
भगवतः कथनीय उरु कर्मणः
कथनीय उरु कर्मणः
गुण कर्म आश्रयाः पुंभिः
गुरु कर्मणः गुण कर्म आश्रयाभिः
संसेव्यः ताः बुभुषुभिः
संसेव्याः ताः बुभुषुभिः
ऋषयः ऊचुः
ऋषयः ऊचुः
सूत जीव समाः सौम्य
सूत जीव समाः सौम्य
शाश्वती विशदं यशः
शाश्वती हि विशदं यशः
यः त्वं शंससि कृष्णस्य
यः त्वशंससि कृष्णस्य
मर्त्याणाम् अमृतं हीनः
मर्त्यानाम् अमृतं हीनः
कर्मणि अस्मिन् अनाश्वासे
कर्मणि अस्मिन् अनाश्वासे
धूम धूम्र आत्मनां भवान्
धूम धूम्र आत्मनां भवान्
आपाययति गोविन्द
आपाययति गोविन्द
पाद पद्म आसवं मधु
पादपद्म आसवं मधु
याः याः कथाः भगवतः
यायाः कथा भगवतः
कथनीय उरु कर्मणः
कथनीय उरु कर्मणः
गुण कर्म आश्रयाः पुंभिः
गुण कर्म आश्रयाः पुंभिः
संसेव्यः तः बुभुषुभिः
संसेव्याः ताः बुभुषुभिः
ऋषयः ऊचुः
ऋषयः ऊचुः
सूत जीव समः सौम्य
सूत जीव समाः सौम्य
शाश्वती विशदं यशः
शाश्वती विशदं यशः
यः त्वं शंससि कृष्णस्य
यः त्वं शंससि कृष्णस्य
मर्त्याणाम् अमृतं हीनः
मर्त्यानाम् अमृतं हीनः
कर्मणि अस्मिन् अनाश्वासे
कर्मणि अस्मिन् अनाश्वासे
धूम धूम्र आत्मनां भवान्
धूम धूम्र आत्मनां भवान्
आपाययति गोविन्द
आपाययति गोविन्द
पाद पद्म आसवं मधु
पादपद्म आसवं मधु
यः यः कथाः भगवतः कथनीयौरु कर्मणः गुण कर्म आश्रयः पुंभिः संसेव्यः तः बुभुषुभिः ऋषयः ऊचुः यः त्वं शंससि कृष्णस्य मर्त्याणाम् अमृतं हीनः कर्मणि अस्मिन् अनाश्वासे धूम धूम्र आत्मनां भवान् आपाययति गोविन्द पाद पद्म आसवं मधु.
हरे कृष्ण यायाः यायाः कथा भगवतः कथन कथनीय उरु कर्मणः गुणकर्म आश्रयाः पुंभिः संसेव्याः ताः बुभुषुभिः ऋषय ऊचुः सूत जीव समाः सौम्य शाश्वती विशदं यशः यः त्वं शंससि कृष्णस्य मर्त्यानाम् अमृतं हीनः कर्मणि अस्मिन् अनाश्वासे धूम्र आत्मनां भवान् आपाययति गोविन्द पादपद्मासवं मधु.
Hare Krishna, very nice. A translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Uh, those who are desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear all topics that are connected with the transcendental activities and qualities of the personality of Godhead, who acts wonderfully. The good sages said, O grave Goswami, may you live many years and have eternal fame, for you are speaking very nicely about the activities of Lord Krishna, personality of Godhead. This is just like nectar for mortal being like us. We have just begun the performance of this fruit activity, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of its result due to the many imperfections in our action. Our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, Govinda, which you are distributing. Purport. The systematic hearing of the transcendental activities, qualities, and names of the Lord Sri Krishna pushes one towards eternal life. A systematic hearing means knowing Him gradually in truth and fact, and this knowing Him in truth and facts means attaining eternal life. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, such transcendental glorified activities of Lord Sri Krishna are the prescribed remedy for counteracting the process of birth, death, old ages, which are considered to be material awards for the conditioned living being. The culmination of such a perfectional stage of life is goal of human life and attainment of transcendental bliss. When we hear about transcendental qualities, activities of personality of Godhead, we may always remember what has been spoken by Lord Himself in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. His acts, even when He acts in human society, are all transcendental, for they are all accentuated by spiritual energy of the Lord, which is distinguished from Him, His material energy. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, such acts are called divyam. This means that He does not act or take His birth like an ordinary living being under custody of material energy, nor is His body material or changeable like that of ordinary living being. And one who understands this fact either from Lord or from authorized sources is not reborn after living present material body. Such an enlightened soul is admitted into spiritual realm of Lord and engages in transcendental living service of the Lord. Therefore, more we hear about transcendental activities of Lord as they are stated in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, more we can know about his transcendental nature, thus take thus make a definite progress on path back to Godhead. The sacrificial fire kindled by sages of Naimisharanya was certainly full of smoke and doubts because of so many flaws. The first flaw is that there is an acute scarcity of expert Brahmanas to carry out such performances successfully in this age of Kali. Any discrepancy in such sacrifices spoils whole show and the result is uncertain, like agricultural enterprises. The good result of tilling paddy field depend on providential rain and therefore result is uncertain. Similarly, performance of any kind of sacrifice in this age of Kali is also uncertain. Unscrupulous, greedy Brahmanas of age of Kali induce innocent public to such uncertain sacrificial shows without disclosing scriptural injunction that in age of Kali, because there is no fruitful sacrificial performance, but sacrifice of congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Sūta Gosvāmī was narrating. the transcendental activities of the Lord before the congregation of sages, and they were actually perceiving the result of hearing these transcendental activities. One can feel this practical as one can feel result of eating food. Spiritual realization acts in that way. The sages of Naimisharanya were practically suffers from the smoke of a sacrificial fire and were doubtful about the result. But by hearing from a realized person like Sūta Gosvāmī, they were fully satisfied. In the Brahma Vaivarta Puran, Vishnu tells Shiva that in the age of Kali, men full of anxieties of various kinds can vainly labor in futile activity and philosophical speculation. But when they are engaged in devotional service, the result is sure and certain, and there is no loss of energy. In other words, nothing performed for spiritual realization or for material benefit can be successful without any devotional service to the Lord. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्दे अहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्विताञ्च नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Krishna. Welcome to all devotees. We continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 18, and we try to understand shloka number 10 to 12. Here, in shloka number 10, they describe about the uh, desirous of achieving complete perfection in life must submissively hear the all topics related to Supreme Lord. And the perfection stage of life is the goal of human life and attain transcendental bliss. How attain that described in procedure here, and in second 11 shloka, Rishi of the Naimisharanya who gathered in Naimisharanya, they asking Sūta Gosvāmī about that you live many years and uh, have eternal fame because they are distributing the nectar of mortal being like those. And they then 12 shloka, they describe about the procedure of how we achieve the devotional service, our perfection, uh, for perfectioning our life. They describe here that nothing performed for spiritual life realization or material benefit can be successful without the devotional service to the Lord. Means they describing the importance of the devotion. All these points are described here. Prabhuji will tell us in nicely detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pancha
Thank you very much,
Kalpatarivaicha
Pankaj.
Kripasindhudescha
Dhanavad, Pankaj.
Patitanam Pankaj Namaः.
Hare Krishna. So here we continue the discussions wherein now Sūta Gosvāmī ji has been explaining that if we really wish to achieve complete perfection in life, then we must submissively hear all topics which are related with transcendental activities and qualities of Krishna. And why Krishna? Because he always acts wonderfully. After hearing all these things, the sages also said, yes, Sūta Gosvāmī ji, you are really great. In fact, we wish that you live so many years, you get eternal fame, and you continue speaking. Because what you're speaking very nicely about activities of Krishna, it is like a nectar for mortal beings like us. In fact, we had begun this yajna, which is a fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of the results, because there are many imperfections which are there in the action. In fact, whatever yajna we were doing, because of that, our bodies have also become black from the smoke. But today we are feeling pleased because of the nectar of the lotus feet of Krishna, which you're distributing through your discussions. So, what actually is being tried to be explained is that the systematic hearing of transcendental qualities, activities, names of Krishna, they in fact help us to go towards the eternal life. Otherwise, you are always bonded in this material life and continuously keep on moving from one birth to another and go through the cycle of repeated birth, old age, disease, and death. But the moment you start systematic hearing, it means you start knowing Krishna gradually in truth and fact. And knowing him in truth and fact means attaining his eternal life. Because transcendental activities which are glorified of Krishna, they are the remedy for counteracting the process of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. And that is only way by which the conditioned souls can become liberated. And the culmination of a perfectional stage of life where we are being liberated is the goal. And that is the only stage where we can attain the transcendental bliss. So what we understand is pure Krishna Katha is a real food for the soul. Not all knowledge liberates. Only Krishna centered discussions, they have the power to please the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjana. And then we know, secondly, that bhakti is higher than mukti. Because even those who are seeking liberation, Bubhushavaha, they are recommended to immerse themselves in Krishna's pastimes. And thirdly, Krishna's qualities, actions, they are absolute. Unlike mundane topics, Krishna's guna karma, they are all spiritual, they are all purifying. And this is what Krishna had said. Janma karma cha me divyam yo vyakti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naeti mameti sa Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving this body, take this birth again in the material world, but attains my spiritual abode, O Arjuna. So his acts, even when he is coming here, are all transcendental because they are accentuated by spiritual energy, which definitely is different from the material energy. And that is why those acts are called divyam, which means it does not act or take birth like ordinary living beings, nor is his body material or changeable like that of ordinary living beings. And one who understands this fact either from Krishna or from authorized sources, then that person need not reborn after leaving the present material body. In fact, such enlightened jivas, they are admitted into the spiritual realm and engage in transcendental loving service of Krishna. And this is something which is stated in the Vedas as well. Purush Bodhini Upanishad, where it is said, Ekah Deva Nitya Leela Anukrita Bhakta Vyapi Hridiyantaratma. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally engaged in many transcendental forms in relationships with his unalloyed devotees. So, faithful devotee of the Lord, he attains perfection. And again, we have the Vedic injunction for it from Shritashrita Upanishad 3.8. Tam eva vidvati vityum eti na anya panthaha vidyate ayanayaha. So one can attain the perfect stage of liberation from birth and death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there is no other way to achieve the perfection. So the more we hear about transcendental activities of Lord, as they are stated in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, the more we can know of his transcendental nature and make definite progress on the path back home, back to God. So what we are making understanding is that Krishna Katha grants immortality. In a world of birth and death, Krishna's pastimes offer nectar that gives eternal life. The speaker of Krishna Katha is a true benefactor. Like Sūta Gosvāmī ji is being blessed to live long, not for himself, but because of the value of what he shares. And glorification of Krishna purifies speaker and the listener alike. The sages are hearing attentively and they are receiving spiritual nourishment. So those sages that kindled the sacrificial fire, and that was certainly full of smoke and also doubts because of the flaws. The first flaw is that in Kali Yuga, there is acute scarcity of expert brahmanas who are able to carry out the yajna successfully. And any discrepancy in the yajna spoils the whole yajna. So the result is uncertain. But still, we'll see that unscrupulous, greedy brahmanas they induce innocent persons to such uncertain yajnas without disclosing the scriptural injunction that in Kali Yuga, no fruitful yajna sacrifice, but what is required is the yajna of the Sankirtana, congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So Sūta Gosvāmī ji, he was narrating the transcendental activities of Lord before the congregation of the sages in Naimisharanya, and they are factually perceiving the results of hearing these transcendental activities. In fact, one can feel this practically, as one can feel the result of eating food. So the sages, they are practically sufferers from the smoke of yajna and were doubtful about the results. But by hearing from realized person like Sūta Gosvāmī, they become fully satisfied. In Brahma Vaivarta Puran, Hare Krishna. So in Brahma Vaivarta Puran, there is a discussion wherein it is said that Lord Vishnu, he tells Shivji that in the age of Kali, men full of anxieties of various kinds can mainly labor in fruitive activity, philosophical speculations. But when they are engaged in devotional service, the result is sure and certain. There is no loss of energy. Hare Krishna. So nothing performed for spiritual realization or for material benefit can be successful without the devotional service to the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So what we understand here are again three things. One, material rituals are temporary, they are uncertain. Despite effort, material processes do not guarantee spiritual success. Second, Krishna Katha is the real yajna. In Kali Yuga, Sankirtan yajna, chanting and hearing about Krishna, is the most effective process. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, eva kevalam kalu nasti, eva nasti, eva nasti, eva gatiranyata. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he has come, he has also shown by his own practical example the importance of Sankirtan yajna. So Krishna Katha is the real yajna. And thirdly, Krishna's lotus feet are the best shelter. Govinda's feet are like a nectarian wine, bringing joy and liberation even amidst chaos. People today fearing the war, the Third World War, nuclear war, they're trying to get themselves into bunkers, hoping again that the Mother Earth will protect them, again on the material platform. but the real protection can be given only by Krishna. Srila Prabhupada narrates one incident of his life when during the Second World War he was doing some prayers to his deities, and there was bombing which was happening, and everyone was ready. So one of the persons he came to Srila Prabhupada and said, "Please come, 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 there is bombing, there is war." And Srila Prabhupada said, "No, I don't have to worry. I have to continue my service to Krishna. If Krishna wants, anything can happen." So that is the faith, that is the confidence that we should have. That is the full surrenderance that we should be developing, like Srila Prabhupada. And for that, listening is important. As we saw in the first canto, 7th chapter, 7th verse. Yasyam Vaishtu Yamanayam Krishne Param Purushe Bhakti Utpadyate Punsa Shoka Moha Bhaya Apaha. Simply by giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. So, let us take some practical tips from the discussions today. On a personal level, let us try to replace all kinds of mundane reading with Bhagavatam. That is very, very important. Srimad Bhagavatam reading. So, not only whatever we are doing in the class every day, but even beyond that, make it a habit to read Bhagavatam few pages every day. Secondly, chant and hear about Krishna's pastimes. Always chant, like we are going to be having the chanting session right now. Thirdly, we have to reflect that the real nectar, the real Amṛta is Krishna's name and glories. And fourthly, the real protection can be given by Krishna. So full surrenderance always has to be to Krishna only and no one. We have to be Krishna Das and not Maya Das. So these are the practical important aspects which we understand from the shloka today that we are taking. And on the preaching front, what it means is again three aspects. We need to invite others to Bhagavatam classes and make them taste the nectar. Second, we have to teach that liberation comes not from dry rituals, but from bhakti. And thirdly, we have to share Krishna Leela, especially his human-like qualities and his opulences, which make him accessible, which make him ideal for everyone to follow, which will make everyone attracted towards his supreme nature. And that way we'll definitely be able to collectively reach our ultimate objective of life, which is Krishna Prem. Thank you very much.